Pirates of the Caribbean 2 movie review. So this is, if you're wondering why I'm just now reviewing Pirates of the Caribbean 2, this is part of my scripted movie review series where I go through my old blog posts and just kind of read them out to make YouTube videos. So this is a review I did on the blog way back when. Movie came out in 2006. I actually didn't get around to seeing it until 2007. Reason being, you may remember there was a lot of hype surrounding this movie when it came out. This was back when people still generally liked this franchise. And there was a lot of buzz surrounding opening weekend. And this is very typical of my life. I didn't see it on opening weekend, and then I was asking around for friends to see it with, and everybody else had gone to see it on opening weekend, so there was nobody to see it with. So, I mean, what are you going to do, right? Can't go to the movie theater by yourself. So I never got around to seeing it in theaters, and just kind of waited to the following year to see it when it came out on video. Even at the time I saw it, I know I just said this was back when the series was still popular, but it was getting some backlash from critics. People were, saying the movie was too self-indulgent, too overdone, too over the top. And I think it was also just fashionable to hate it because it was like a big blockbuster and it was like Disney cashing in on a theme park ride. And just kind of all the reasons it was fashionable to hate these movies. But I liked it. I thought it was a fun adventure movie. It was part Indiana Jones. It was part Treasure Island. It was part 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Sure, some of the jokes are a bit corny. Some of the plot doesn't make sense. For that matter, a lot of the physics in this movie don't really make sense. But there's enough pirates, sword battles, sea monsters, and explosions to just satisfy the 12-year-old boy inside me. Interesting. The movie was bloodless. You didn't see any blood in it, but it did have a high body count. By the time the movie was over, I'm not sure how many people died on screen, but a lot. I guess this is a sign of how things are changing. I think 20 years ago, back in the 1980s, this would never have been released under the Disney label. It would have been released under their Touchstone label. I guess times are changing now, and this is getting released under the Disney label. Also, Johnny Depp makes good use of the word bugger, or I guess his character does, which I thought, I'm an American, so I don't know anything, but I've had conversations with Australian and New Zealand people who have given me to understand that this word is offensive if you say it in Australia or New Zealand. So I don't know. I was a little bit surprised that this was in a Disney movie, but people who are from Australia or New Zealand, let me know, how offensive is this word really, and were you surprised to hear it in a Disney movie? This is kind of a silly thing to get excited about, but changing topics. This is kind of a silly thing to get excited about, but I've always been one of those continuity nerds. You really love when all the same characters from a franchise just kind of continue. And this movie did a great job of that. All the old characters from the previous movie were back, even most of the minor ones. The only omission I spotted was the character of Anna Maria, that character in the first movie, the woman who had kind of signed up because she wanted to get her ship back. And she was the only person who was missing from the second movie, and it made it noticeable because she was the only person. I wrote down at the time, Well, sorry, I wrote down at the time that I noticed she was missing, and I just kind of left it at that. It's come out since. This woman is Zoe Saldana, I think is how you pronounce the name of the actress, who's become famous since for playing Uhura in the Star Trek reboot movies. It has come out since in interviews with her that she chose not to come back to this movie because she had such a horrible experience on the first movie. Apparently she was really disrespected or something. I don't know the details. Another minor character is that guy from The Office, Mackenzie Crook, I think is the name of the actor. I was a big fan of the British version of The Office, and it does have a cult following in America. So I was wondering if maybe the reason he had an expanded role in the sequel is because of the cult following that The Office has in America. Or, I don't know, maybe they just expanded his character because they liked his character. I don't know. Yeah, so that's all I've got for this. A big, dumb action movie, but for my money at least, a fun, big, dumb action movie.